So, today we're going to dive into a really powerful framework for mastering your inner world. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is a practical method, a real tool that's designed to completely change how you experience your life, just by understanding your own mind a little bit better.
But before we get into the nuts and bolts, let me ask you a question. Are you sawing the branch you're sitting on? I know, it sounds pretty absurd, right? But honestly, this question gets right to the heart of how we all operate sometimes, without even realizing it. It's a fantastic metaphor for a problem that's way more common than you think: unconscious self-sabotage. To really get this, there's a classic story about a man named Kalidas. Just picture this guy. He's way up high on a huge tree branch, and he is sawing away with this incredible, intense focus. He's totally lost in what he's doing, putting every ounce of energy into his task, and he's completely 100% oblivious to anything else.
And the punchline, you guessed it, is that he had no idea he was sawing the branch between himself and the tree trunk. He was literally cutting the very thing that was supporting him. He was working against his own best interests without a single shred of awareness. And that right there, that's a perfect picture of how we often operate.
So, this brings us right to our first section, the self-sabotaging mind. Because that story about Kalidas, it isn't just about some silly guy in a tree. It's really about us. It's about all those subtle, often totally invisible ways that we end up harming our own well-being, all because of a simple lack of awareness. Now, when you hear the phrase self-harm, your mind probably goes to something physical. But the source material for this wants us to take a much broader view. Things like chronic anxiety, or that constant reactivity we have to our phones, or feeling that sense of inner conflict, even just holding two completely contradictory thoughts at once. All of these are a kind of unseen self-harm. In these states, we are, physiologically speaking, sawing away at the very branch we're sitting on. Okay, so if the big problem is this lack of awareness, then what's the fix? Well, that leads us to the foundational tool for changing course, which is your inner compass. And another word for that is self-awareness. I want you to think of self-awareness as your mind's own internal GPS. It is the absolute foundational step for any kind of mindfulness or real mental change. And its job isn't to judge you or tell you you're bad for getting lost. Nope. Its only job is to show you exactly where you are, right here, right now. And the most critical part of this, the part we really need to get, is that phrase right there, without judgment. A real compass doesn't get angry that you're facing north when you wanted to go south. It just states the fact. Self-awareness does the exact same thing for our minds. It just reveals what's happening, totally neutrally. Let's bring this down to earth for a second. Imagine someone criticizes your work. The default reaction, for a lot of us, might be to get angry or defensive. But your inner compass, your awareness, just quietly notes, anger is showing up. And in that tiny little pause, you suddenly have a choice. Instead of just reacting, you can choose to respond with, say, curiosity or openness. That choice, that's freedom. But how do we actually build this awareness? I mean, just being told to be more aware isn't exactly helpful, is it? That's why we need a structured approach. And that brings us to the real core of this whole framework, the POISE method. So the POISE method is a 5-step framework, and it's specifically designed to take us way beyond that vague advice of just pay attention. This isn't just about feeling a little better in the moment. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with your own thoughts through a clear, repeatable process. The acronym POISE stands for 5 distinct steps. We've got presence, observer, investigate, space, and embody. So let's take a quick look at what each of these really means in practice.
All right, the whole process kicks off with P, for presence. This is just the simple act of checking in. It's that moment you suddenly realize your mind isn't here at all. It's off replaying an old conversation or planning your next meal. That little flash of recognition is presence. It's not about forcing your mind to stay still. It's just about noticing where it's wandered off to. Presence is simply switching the light on in the room.
So once you've found that presence, you can shift into O, the observer. This is where you practice watching your thoughts and feelings without getting tangled up in their drama. A great way to think of it is like watching clouds drift across the sky. You see a big, dark, stormy thought of worry appear, but you don't chase it, you don't judge it, you just observe it. And this creates a crucial separation. You are not the thought. You are the one watching the thought. And from that calm observer's point of view, you can start to investigate. That's the I in POISE. Now, this isn't some harsh interrogation. It's more of a gentle curiosity.
You just start to ask, why does this pattern keep showing up? What is this feeling really about? The goal isn't to blame yourself. It's just to understand where it's coming from. Ah, I see. This anxiety always spikes right before a presentation. Just understanding that is the first step to disarming the pattern. This investigation naturally starts to create S for space. The moment you understand a thought's origin, it starts to lose some of its power over you. It's no longer this overwhelming feeling of I am anxious. Instead, it becomes a much more manageable, I am noticing a feeling of anxiety arising. Can you feel the difference there? That little gap, that tiny bit of distance, that's everything. That's the space where you stop just reacting and you start choosing how to respond.
And finally, all of this leads to E, for embody. This is where it all comes together. It's not just about finding a fleeting moment of calm. It's about letting this entire practice really soak into your being. By repeatedly going through presence, observing, investigating, and creating space, you start to integrate this peaceful awareness into your everyday life. Calm confidence stops being this thing you have to strive for, and it just starts becoming your new normal. Now, as we start investigating our thoughts, you might find that some patterns are incredibly stubborn. They feel almost hardwired. So why is that? Well, to answer that, we have to go a level deeper and learn how to decode what you might call our mental DNA.
So, the source material introduces this really interesting concept from Vedic wisdom called prabda. And probably the clearest way to think about it as your mental DNA. These are all the deep, lasting impressions left by your past experiences, your childhood, your culture, your personal history, that all come together to shape your automatic reactions and tendencies today. It's like the software that's always running in the background.
So what does this actually look like in real life? Well, it could be a deep-seated pattern of people-pleasing, because that's how you learned to get approval when you were a kid. Or maybe it's a crippling perfectionism that comes from intense parental pressure. Or it could be a fear of public speaking that's all rooted in one bad experience you had years and years ago. That's your prabda at work. Now, here is the really crucial point. Understanding our mental DNA gives us two incredibly important qualities at the exact same time. On one hand, you get personal responsibility, the knowledge that you can consciously work with these patterns and change them. But on the other hand, you also get self-compassion, the recognition that these patterns have really deep roots, and their existence isn't some kind of personal failure. Okay, so let's move into our final section and see how all of this comes together. By understanding our mental DNA and by using the POISE method, we can truly begin the work of mastering our inner world. Here's a really powerful way to visualize this. See your thoughts and your emotions as just paintings on a canvas. The paintings can be bright, they can be dark, chaotic, or calm, but here's the thing. You are not the painting. You are the canvas itself, that underlying awareness that is always stable, always unchanged, no matter what kind of art appears on it. Or here's another great analogy. Think of your awareness like a movie screen. The screen itself isn't changed by whatever film is playing on it, right? It doesn't matter if it's a comedy, a drama, or a horror movie. The film plays, and then it ends. The screen remains. You are the screen, not the fleeting movie of the moment. Ultimately, the entire purpose of this practice, the whole reason we're talking about this, is to make one crucial shift, to move from a default mind, one that just runs on autopilot based on old programming, to a discerning mind, a mind that operates from a place of conscious choice and true awareness. So, I want to leave you with the same question we started with, but maybe framed a little differently this time, more like a call to action. Just take a moment to think about your own life, your own patterns. What branch are you ready to stop cutting?